The wife of the late chebukati, the former IBC chairman, has spoken about the calls she received asking her whether her husband was deceased from the fake reports on social media. Mary Wanyonyi said her husband was killed many times by the social media users. She said she had been confirming to many people her husband was not dead. Remember to subscribe, to like and share for more investigative videos at DKL Investigative.
So maybe just join me. Mwamba wenye imara, kwako nitajificha, maji hayo na damu yaliyotoka humo hunisafisha dhambi, unifanya mshindi. Bishop, presiding pastor, and all the clergy, and allow me to write on it. As I prepared to give my tribute, I would like to request to be coming forward, just to stand, not to speak, the Commission on Revenue Allocation team. Please just stand and start coming. I am sorry you had been put in the program, but somebody may have felt you fall under constitutional commissions, and so you got lost in there. Please come forward, and as you come forward, I would like to request the team of lawyers of Ngumbo and team Murugu, Mukele, please also, that team, the IBC team, was just to come forward. I'd like to request the home care team, Langat, Mwangi, Shaha, all that entire team, just be coming forward, please. Lucy, Kutz, of course, my chairman of the subcommittee, please just step forward. And I don't think Professor Gulie and Molu and Marjan are here, but I know IBC is here. Vera is not here, but her children are here. Now, don't be worried, they are not going to speak. And when indeed I start my tribute, feel free to stand there. Once I see you there, I'll get the message. Because it's very, very difficult to put this tribute to speak of the gentleman that is lying there. I've been strong. I'll try to be strong. And the reason I'm strong is because of the support. Mary, Winnie, please come forward. The support that I have received ever since 20th February, just about midnight. I know there's more. There are more people who have supported, but why I'm just calling this team is they have been involved on a day-to-day basis in ensuring that the chairman gets the best, either in terms of support or in terms of spiritual prayers. Chairman Mnamwa, please, I wanted you to come forward. They've been praying, they've supported us in all manner. In the interest of time, I will not mention them. I'll just ask the group of the house team, Ken and your team, Ken and the team, Wamukoya, Shaha, Langat. These have been the caregivers of the chairman, cooking, I think there's Shaha, literally making sure that he's been okay. He was okay initially, but when he started getting sick, then they came in. And I don't know if David is here, he's physiotherapist. If you are, please come forward. They've literally taken care of him on a daily basis. Thank you very much. We will get you to speak on Friday during the tribute upcountry. I also have the team of my sister and my brother. Please stand up. Lucy and Kutz. The night the news came in, the news Rachel is talking about, and the chairman of our committee, these are the people who accompanied me to hospital that night. The way the news was broken to me, I was just told he's had a cardiac arrest and he has died. And that was just before midnight. So it was very devastating. It so happened Rachel, as she has said, was away, and my son Jonathan was around, and they were speaking on phone, and Rachel could hear me get the call on the other line. Within no time, she had mobilized a team to accompany me to hospital. Thank you very much. That is Lucy, my sister, and Kutz, my brother, and Wakili Nyongesa. The other people who've been there literally on a day-to-day basis, every day, the lawyers, please step forward. Day-to-day basis, these lawyers have been available. They've been visiting. If it's birthdays, they've celebrated. When the sad news has come in, we have always felt free to share with them. And they have always said, please let us know if you have a problem and if you require anything. Thank you very much. We don't take it for granted. Somebody missing here is one of the lawyers who passed on, Wakili Mutubia, who was also very close with the chairman. Thank you very much. From IBC, Marjan, the CEO, current CEO, Professor Gulie, and the two other commissioners, Professor Gulie and Commissioner Molu. We used to call them the four musketeers, because they used to move around together. They made decisions together. So whenever they visited, literally almost every day, and I will always make sure that whoever wants to visit chairman should come around 1 o'clock. Kutz and Nyongesa, it was deliberate. I hope you enjoyed the chicken you used to eat. Thank you, Ken, for providing that lunch. I'll just call Ken when these people say they are coming, and I'll try to make sure it is at lunchtime so that they give company to the chairman, because that was the best time to have visited it. Thank you very much. Let me ask the other Wakilis, please, Lucy and team, just to step forward. Yes, again, thank you very much for the support that you have given. We are truly grateful. Lucy is the former PA. Wakilis again supported him. You may not have enjoyed the chicken, but you did support very much. Thank you. So this other team, I have a lady here, Rose Wanja. Rose Wanja is a very interesting person. This girl was given instructions by the state to ensure that the chairman goes to Germany. And then she goes ahead and she says, I come from Germany. My father was a German. And then she tells the chair, in his state of sickness, I never saw my father. When you go to Germany, please look for my father. And the chair asks, so how old is your father? Do you think he is? Say, just over 100 years. He says, okay, I'll try, but if I don't find him, can I be your father? So thank you very much, Anja. She ensured that the two trips that he made to Germany, she was the one liaising with us for the surgeries. I have now my commission here. Is there anybody else? Again, I'll request them just to step forward. These are the people who I work with and who keep me going in the office. I will start with the commissioners. My vice, who is now in charge of the office and who has been steering, because we are at the very critical stage of that office. Commissioner Kuko, so I'll not allow them to speak. Commissioner Wayaki. We have Josephine, who represents the National Treasury. She actually represents the PS Treasury, Kipto. And then then there's Commissioner Fatuma Gedi, who I'm told was here, but she has been, because of the fasting, the Ramadan, she's not here. I want to send a special thanks to her. Every morning she has walked with buckets of mandazis, mahamri, biryanis, potatoes. So literally, we have hardly bought mandazis. She has supplemented Ken with his cooking. So please extend my appreciation to her. Behind is the CRA team, what I call the CRA team. I see some directors, thank you very much, and some of my staff. And I'm very grateful for the support that you have given me. I will not allow you to speak. You will speak on Friday because that's when we have allocated tributes. So thank you so much. Thank you very much, the rest of you. I wouldn't want to take over the program, but I just wanted you to get a feel of the team that has been behind the chair. Ruth Muganda, she's here. Yeah, she has a right to complain. Ruth Muganda is a very, very dear friend. We come a long way. And also Mary, who people mistake to be my sister. So thank you very much, Ruth. We have been together for, I don't know, many, many years. Yes, thank you, as old as our children. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. In the process, I want to extend sincere appreciation. I know there will be a vote of thanks to those of you who supported us financially. Please, Margaret, Amanda, please stand up where you are. Sorry, you know you are small, so sometimes we forget you. That is my first cousin. She's a daughter to Rachel, and she's been very, 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 very supportive. Literally kept on coming home, knows the entire story of the chairman, because they used to engage every other time. Sorry, Margaret, I had forgotten you. Thank you very much. I want to then proceed. As I say, I was appreciating the financial support. It's been overwhelming. We were told we shall have a state funeral, but that will happen at home. But again, state funeral, as we still have to get support to meet certain expenses, because as you are aware, if I have to host guests in the village, there will be more of the politicians' guests than my own guests. My own guests are about this number, but I've been told to host 2,000 people. Emil, my brother-in-law, thank you very much. You've been very supportive, always coming home. I hope you enjoyed the salads. We also used to time you the time to come home. Thank you very much. Allow me now to just go through quickly my tribute. And as I say, if you feel free to stand, presiding, go ahead. I'm very good at taking instructions. So mine is a letter to this gentleman that lies here. A very handsome gentleman, no doubt. Our formal journey between you and I began on the 21st of April 1990, when we solemnized our marriage at Mariakani Christian Center. But our story had started long before that. I first met you when I was attending a training which was sponsored by the National Treasury in Mombasa. I was an accountant then. You were then running your law firm of Wanyonyi and Company Advocates. Most people know me as Mrs. Wanyonyi. Many think Wanyonyi is somebody else. My husband is Wanyonyi Chebukati, so I'm married to the same man. They are not two different men. So I have been Mrs. Wanyonyi ever since I started working. Chebukati surfaced when 2017 came up, but I hardly used the name until 2022. During my mom's funeral, that is when I was introducing the chairman, everybody was shocked and they were like, oh, so this is a Chebukati. So that is how, you may ask why I'm using two names of his, Wanyonyi Chebukati. Well, maybe I loved him so much that I had to take 2 of his names, I don't know. But it was an issue even when I went for vetting for my position, because the parliamentarians thought there was a Wanyonyi and there was a Chebukati, so they didn't understand why I was not using the Chebukati name, but it's one and the same. So before our wedding, my pastor insisted that we undergo counseling sessions, and that was a prerequisite for marriage. You took it to heart, attending every session without fail, knowing that missing even one of them might lead to disqualification. I had a very curly pastor. So, as the wedding day approached, you traveled from Mombasa every weekend, sometimes twice a week, determined to see it through. When we were doing our wedding cards, the church insisted on your Christian name. He didn't give his name. I had to call the father to give me his Christian name. That's when I knew he was called Wellington. But as a Christian, he was a true Christian. But I think this phobia of university, when they were in the university being rebels, for some reason, they preferred using their African names. So today you have learned my husband was actually called Wellington. So that's what went on to the card. Wellington weds Mary. So a month after our wedding, I was transferred to Mombasa to join you. So later it became clear to me that the pastor had been testing your commitment. And that was because the sessions he used to come for, I think the pastor wanted to really understand and be sure I am in the right hands, because my pastor was a Bunyori, and my husband, I was going to get married to a Bukusu. And you know Bukusus, they are like Muslims. They can have more than one wife. So my father had actually cautioned me, and he kept on asking, are you sure you want to go to Bukusu? And if you do, then be ready to have company. So he kept on fearing that he knew the way he had brought us up. My parents had been together and we had not had issues of a polygamous marriage. And I was entering a home which was polygamous, and my father feared that I may be a subject of a polygamous setup. But the sessions that we took place, a man lying here assured my pastor that Bukusu cultures will not play a big role in our family. And indeed, they did not. So I remember when you ran for the MP seat in Saboti, Trans Nzoia, you were adamant that I accompany you to the campaign rallies, but I resisted wanting to focus on our young family while managing my job in the public sector in the Coast Province. You didn't hear of it. I had to be by your side. At first, I didn't understand why. But over time, I realized that while you needed my support in your public life, you were just as committed to ensuring I was never in harm's way. You encouraged my presence, but never exposed me to the chaos and scrutiny that came with public life. I learned how to blend into the crowd, to be there without drawing attention. Later, I understood it was your way of silently taking care of me. At your request, your elder sister, my Dina, she spoke here, she moved into our home during the campaign 2007. And her role was not just to support you, but to care for me. You knew the demands of the campaign and the pressures it would bring, and you made sure I wasn't left to navigate it alone. That was the kind of man you were. It turned out that because I was not at home in Saboti or Kitale, I was in Coast. There were so many people hovering around pretending to be the first ladies of the MP, the aspiring candidate. So I think he deliberately put Sister Dina there just to make sure that there's a shield around him. So that was him. I think that's why I am still the only wife to the man lying here. That was the highest chance of it happening, because when you are campaigning, everybody wants to associate with you as your first lady. So my husband kept on insisting, you must come home, you must be seen, I must be seen to have a wife and to just have a decent wife. So I will fast forward to your friends. You were chef and then later chairman, but to me you were always honey or darling. But when Rachel came up as the first child, honey, darling got out of the way. It became Mama Rachel and Baba Rachel. So that is how we all acquired those titles. In the early days of our life, we had only one car, until later when we realized having a second car was more of a necessity than a luxury. Every morning, you would drop me at the district treasury where I worked and pick me up in the evening. I recall one of those days, as a young married couple, we had had a disagreement. And I gave you the silent treatment of, as you took me to work, of kneel by mouth. We were not talking. So when we were not talking, it was always kneel by mouth. When you came to pick me up in the evening, you saw me from a distance, laughing heartily, chatting, and very excited. When I got into the car, I instantly resumed my kneel by mouth. Remember, carry forward from morning. You looked at me and said, was that you I just saw, or was it someone else who looked exactly like you? Happy and cheerful. And now you are kneel by mouth. Of course, that broke the ice and we continued talking. So he had a way of bringing me back whenever we had disappointments. As an advocate, he often had cases outside Mombasa, and you'd ask me to accompany you. I vividly recall a trip to Embu, where you designated me as your driver, so you could prepare your case. Preparing the case was unexcused. He just wanted me to do the driving and to accompany him. At the time, I thought it was simply about work, but over time, I realized it was much more. He wanted us to bond and get close to each other. And that is how we got close, because Rachel came 2 years later after our marriage. Those 2 years were real bonding years. When I was transferred from Mombasa to Nairobi, because I overgrew my seniority, so I was taken to Nairobi. And being a Bukusu man, there was no way I could force you to join me, or even a Luya man. So I found a way. I started slowly pulling out the children. So I pulled Rachel to Nairobi, then I pulled Jonathan, and you heard Emmanuel say how they remained the two of them, and they realized they just have to come to Nairobi. That's how my husband ended up coming to Nairobi. And eventually, I saw the team of Kuto there. He now opened and became the managing partner and opened their Nairobi branch. Many people assumed I was the talkative one in our marriage. No. This man spoke more than I did. You will not believe it. He spoke more than I did. He chatted more than I did. And the people who actually know who gave the tribute that is really applicable to the gentleman here was the IBC, where he spent 6 years at the helm. To him, that was his second family. He protected them, and they are here. He ensured that he gave them their best coverage. And I was so encouraged when they came home, almost 150 of them. They had a ceremony, lit candles, and the tributes we had were spot on. That is exactly my husband. IBC, you got it right. That is him. Yes, thank you very much. So the only thing I've not done, because Chairman had a habit of starting things, he starts projects, and then he dumps them on me because he knows I'll run with them. But one thing we've not been able to do with him was to do the PhD. We kept on arguing who will start their PhD first among the 5 of us. It's still a challenge, but for me, I don't think it adds any value. So the challenge is among the 3. So he encouraged me. You have heard about our golf career. You often set that difficult task. I have just told you that.
While the wife of the late Ofula Chebukati, the IBC chairman, gave an emotional tribute of her husband, she spoken about the several reports shared online about her husband's health. She said it has been a difficult journey for her with the social media users developing negative reports on the health of her husband. Remember to subscribe, to like and share for more investigative videos at DKL Investigative.